Hello everyone and welcome back to the All Things K-Movies channel. I'm your host Ian from EonTalk, and today we've got the next top Korean movies by genre video. In today's top K-Movies content, we'll be diving into the best Korean crime movies based on true stories. Korean movies in itself can be categorized as a genre of film under the larger umbrella of cinema, but even within the category of K-movies, there's a wide array of subcategories available. These can range from light and humorous comedies to dark and serious thrillers and dramas. We've gone through many of the different genres before on the EonTalk channel, but in today's video, I'll be introducing to you 10 crime K-movies that are based on true stories. But before getting into the list, I'd like to remind you that as always with my listicle videos, the ranking will be based on my personal taste. Thus, if you have differing views, you can respectfully leave them in the comments down below. Also, the movies in today's list can range from being loosely based to adapted from true events. What this means is that although some movies are based on a single, real-life event and/or person, others may be loosely based on multiple events and/or individuals. Moreover, quote-unquote true crime is not only defined as murder, but a broader meaning behind crime was taken into account when preparing this video. Okay then, that being said, let's get right into today's video on Top 10 Korean True Crime Films. Starting off the list, the number 10 film is the 2009 mystery film, The Case of Itaewon Homicide. The Case of Itaewon Homicide was directed by Hong Gi-sun, who also directed The Disclosure, and starred Jung Jin-young, Chang Geun-seok, Shin Seung-hwan, Oh Kwang-lok, and Ko Chang-seok. The Case of Itaewon Homicide is based on the real-life events of a horrifying murder that occurred in Itaewon, Seoul in 1997. On the night of April 3, 1997, in the restroom of a Burger King in Itaewon, a senseless and brutal crime took place where a Korean college student, Jo Jung-pil, who was only 22 years old at the time, was attacked without any apparent reason. He was ruthlessly stabbed 9 times and tragically lost his life. 2 troubled US teenagers, Arthur Patterson and Edward Lee, emerged as suspects and were subsequently convicted for the crime. Arthur Patterson was released after a year in a special amnesty, while Edward Lee regained his freedom a year later due to insufficient evidence. The Case of Itaewon Homicide portrays this true story of the young life tragically cut short in the quest for accountability. Next, the number 9 film is the crime movie that released in 2018, The Drug King. Directed by Umino, who directed other amazing works such as Inside Men and The Band Standing Next, The Drug King saw the likes of Song Kang-ho, Jo Jung-seok, and Bae Doo-na starring in the film. Drug King draws inspiration from real-life figures, blending imaginative storytelling with the tales of notorious criminals. To avoid unnecessary controversies, the characters' names in the film have been changed, but they were based on actual individuals involved in a drug scandal that took place in the 1970s. One of the most prominent characters of the film is Lee Do-sam, a fictionalized portrayal of the infamous drug lord Lee Hwang-sun. The movie heavily draws inspiration from Lee Hwang-sun's life, particularly his collaboration with Yakuza members depicted in the film. As the movie's climax scene is briefly revealed in the trailer, Lee Hwang-sun, just like his fictional counterpart, fiercely resisted arrest, firing guns at the heavily armed police before his eventual capture. The real-life hideout of Lee Hwang-sun reportedly had state-of-the-art CCTV systems installed, a rare sight in those times. He even used guard dogs to protect his territory, which was reflected in the film as well. At number 8, we have the 2011 crime drama, Children. Children was directed by Lee Gyu-man, who also more recently directed The Policeman's Lineage. The film saw the leads Park Yong-woo, Ryu Seung-ryung, and Song Dong-il, and is based on one of the unsolved mysteries that shook Korea, the infamous Frog Boys case. The case dates back to 1991 when 5 elementary school students went to catch frogs and mysteriously disappeared. Despite a massive search effort involving police and even military personnel, the children were never found. The Frog Boys case remains as one of the most enigmatic, unsolved mysteries in South Korea's history. On the fateful day in 1991, 5 innocent children went out to catch frogs but never returned home. The authorities launched an extensive search operation, combing the area with police and military, but their efforts yielded no results. For 11 agonizing years, the case remained a haunting unsolved mystery, leaving the nation baffled and devastated. The disappearance of the children remained a deeply troubling unsolved mystery that captured the hearts of the entire country. Then, after 11 years, a grim discovery was made on Mount Waryong. Human remains were found, believed to be those of the missing children. But despite the find, crucial details, including the cause of death and the identity of the perpetrator, remained elusive. The film Children goes over this mysterious event. Moving along, at number 7, we have the 2017 film New Trial. Directed by Kim Tae-yoon, whose other more recent work includes Mr. Zoo the Missing VIP, New Trial featured Jung-woo, Kang Han-eul, and Kim Hye-suk. Based on the gripping true story of the Iksan-Yakcheon intersection taxi driver murder case, the film takes the viewers on a rollercoaster ride of justice, redemption, and fighting for the truth. The Iksan-Yakcheon intersection taxi driver murder case occurred on August 10, 2000 in Iksan, Cholla Province. It involved a tragic murder where an innocent person was coerced into a false confession under the pressure from the police. The victim, a taxi driver, was fatally stabbed 12 times with a weapon by the culprit, leading to his untimely death due to excessive bleeding. In the aftermath of the crime, the Iksan police accused an innocent man who witnessed the culprit fleeing near the crime scene of being the murderer. He was wrongfully arrested and faced charges for the murder, and New Trial dives into the gripping courtroom drama. The movie revolves around the story of Chun-young, a lawyer pushed to the edge, and Hyun-woo, who spent 10 years behind bars being falsely accused of murder. Together, they embark on a journey to uncover the truth, struggling against all odds. The number 6 movie goes to the crime drama released in 2007, Voice of a Murderer. This movie was directed by Park Jin-pyo, who also directed Love Forecast and You're My Sunshine, and the film featured the leads of Seol Kyung-gu and Kim Nam-joo. Voice of a Murderer is based on a horrifying kidnapping case that shook South Korea in 1991. It follows the gut-wrenching story of a child abducted for 44 days, during which the kidnapper tormented the parents with anonymous phone calls concealing his identity. The authorities pursue the kidnapper, relying solely on the voice heard through the receiver to locate the child. However, tragically, the kidnapper remained elusive, and the kidnapped child was eventually found lifeless. Voice of a Murderer is based on this real-life abduction case where the heartbroken parents received a series of chilling calls from the kidnapper, taunting them with threats and cryptic messages. To make matters worse, despite their relentless pursuit of justice, the case remains unsolved, leaving the grieving parents with unanswered questions and a sense of injustice that persists to this day.
실내등을 켜둔 상태에서 뒷 시트 한번 열어주시고요. 뒷좌석이요.
Before moving into the top 5, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to ExpressVPN. If you would like to access more Korean movies through streaming services, I highly suggest using ExpressVPN to connect to servers from other locations to gain access to thousands of more content. By using ExpressVPN, you can bypass geo restrictions, meaning you can be from anywhere around the world and access the Korean and other countries' servers. If you would like to access more Korean content like movies, dramas, and shows, be sure to sign up for ExpressVPN using my link in the descriptions or expressvpn.com/EonTalk and get 49% off an annual plan plus 3 extra months for free. Better yet, if you sign up and don't like the service, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, meaning you can cancel anytime within the first 30 days. And now the top 5. Starting off the top 5, the number 5 movie is one that came with some controversy with its release in 2018, Dark Figure of Crime. Dark Figure of Crime was directed by Kim Tae-yoon, who also directed Spring Snow, and had stunning performances by Kim Yoon-suk and Chu Ji-yoon. Dark Figure of Crime was a blend of several real-life cases mixed into a film, one of which is the heinous crime of a taxi driver murdering an innocent person. Another chilling incident depicted in the movie involves a passerby being fatally stabbed and their body burnt, which is also based on a real-life case where the victim was a preparer of a law exam. Also, the pivotal event in the movie that led to the capturing of the protagonist is also drawn from a real crime where the actual body was found at the location disclosed by the criminal, leading to his conviction in court. While Dark Figure of Crime is inspired by actual events, it is essential to recognize that certain parts of the story were most definitely adapted. But here's where its controversy came in. It was adapted without proper consent, bringing into question the film's authenticity and ethical considerations. The film's production raised significant controversy as the producers proceeded without obtaining consent from the families of the victim and created an unauthorized adaptation of real events, leading to heated debates and criticism. Movies based on true stories can be incredibly powerful, shedding light on hidden crimes and serving as a call for justice. However, it is equally crucial for filmmakers to respect the sensitivities and rights of the victims' families during the adaptation process. That being said, although its controversial issue is unfortunate, Dark Figure of Crime as a movie in and of itself was very good. Moving on to the number 4 spot, the number 4 movie goes to the 2017 action crime film, The Outlaws. Directed by Kang Yun-sung, who also directed Long Live the King, you may be surprised to see that The Outlaws was based on real events. Starring Ma Dong-seok and Yoon Ge-sang, the action-packed The Outlaws drew inspiration from the infamous Hwanggeoni faction and Huksa faction incidents that occurred in 2004 and 2007, respectively. The Hwanggeoni faction case is where 14 Chinese-Korean individuals were arrested on attempted murder charges, and the Huksa faction incident is where 7 members of a transnational organization based in Harbin's Chinatown were apprehended while 25 others were investigated but not detained. The Outlaws showcases this adaptation in a thrilling narrative featuring relentless detectives embarking on a mission to confront ruthless organized crime syndicates. The movie presents high-stakes action, adrenaline-pumping sequences, and a determined pursuit of justice that keeps the audiences at the edge of their seats. Coming in at number 3 of my list of top Korean true crime movies is a drama film that released in 2011, Silence. Directed by Hwang Dong-hyuk, the director of the films The Fortress and Miss Granny, Silence is an emotional film starring Gong Yoo and Chung Yoo-mi. Silence, also known as Dongani, uncovers the unthinkable atrocities that occurred at a deaf education facility in Gwangju. Based on the heartbreaking story of students subjected to abuse and group sexual assault by the very people who are supposed to protect and care for them, the institution's director and staff, the movie adaptation draws from the real-life horror that left audiences stunned and compelled them to confront the dark truths of society. The impact of Silence was so significant that it led to a resurgence of public outcry, reopening the case for investigation. The movie unveiled the horrifying crimes that transpired over 5 long years, starting in the year 2000 at a deaf education facility where both male and female students with disabilities fell victim to unspeakable acts. The film was able to accomplish quite the opposite of its title, stirring a societal awakening, igniting conversations about child protection and the importance of standing up against such heinous crimes. And now just 2 movies left. The top 2 true crime films of Korean cinema. First, the number 2 film is the 2008 released must-watch film, The Chaser. Directed by one of the most notable directors in Korean cinema, Na Hong-jin, whose other masterpieces include The Wailing and The Yellow Sea, The Chaser features some of the best performances by Kim Yoon-seok and Ha Jong-woo. The film is based on the horrifying true events involving Korea's most notorious serial killer, Yoo Young-chul. For over a year from 2003, Yoo brutally claimed the lives of 20 innocent victims, and the movie reconstructs the crimes committed by the killer and the gripping process of his capture. Yoo Young-chul is a real-life monster that haunted South Korea during his killing spree. His methods of murder were horrifying and sent shockwaves throughout the nation, and the impact of the movie The Chaser goes beyond its intense storytelling. Not only the dialogue, but the characters themselves had lasting impression on audiences. Interestingly, experts have drawn comparisons between Yoo Young-chul and another infamous serial killer, Kang Ho-sun. Some argue that the protagonist of The Chaser and his methods and personality bear a striking resemblance to Kang Ho-sun's, creating a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk in the darkest corners of society. All in all, The Chaser's impact left a lasting impression on audiences with unforgettable lines and scenes. And finally, the number 1 Korean true crime film. The number 1 spot goes to the oldest released film that can only be described as perfection. The number 1 movie goes to the 2003 film, Memories of Murder. Memories of Murder was directed by the legendary Bong Joon-ho, whose filmography of masterpieces include Parasite, The Host, and Mother, to name a few. featuring the main leads of Song Kang-ho and Kim Sang-kyung. Memories of Murder is a film based on the infamous Hwasong serial murders that took place from 1986 to 1991. During this dark period, a serial killer known as Lee Chun-jae terrorized the nation by brutally murdering 10 women after raping them. The unsolved murders haunted the nation for years, leaving everyone in fear. For years, the Hwasong murders remained one of the most baffling unsolved cases in South Korea's history. The police and investigators tirelessly searched for leads and evidence, but the culprit managed to evade capture, leaving the nation in a state of fear and unease. But everything changed when a breakthrough occurred. Recently, the authorities managed to extract DNA evidence from the crime scenes, which South Korea didn't have the technology for back in the days. This significant development allowed them to identify the real killer, Lee Chun-jae, 33 years after the first murder took place. The movie perfectly captures the intensity and desperation of the investigation into the Hwasong serial murders and is a haunting reminder of the horrifying crimes that once gripped the nation. And that's it for today's video on top Korean true crime movies. Some films that you believe should have made it on this list may not have been included, but please remember that this list was based on my personal recommendations. Nonetheless, I'd love to hear which movies you believe are deserving of the title Top Korean True Crime Movies, as well as movies on this list that you've seen and enjoyed, so please leave a comment or join in on the discussions on the EonTalk Telegram group, linked in the descriptions. If you enjoyed this video and would like more similar content, be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to sign up for ExpressVPN using my link to access more Korean movies and dramas. Once again, thank you to everyone that watched till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.